Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Friday evening, January 3, 2025. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak months of Atlantic hurricane season, that's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Please ensure that you guys utilize the progress bar that's located at the bottom of the video, as well as the timestamps that are located not only in the comment section but the video description, so that you can skip to the points in the video that you want to see the most in order to save time, because know that the videos over here with the Jamaica can be very long. Leave a comment down below letting me know what though that's been like in your year recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so as usual, we're going to be looking at what the next 7 days have in store for us according to the latest Euro model run that came out today at 3:30 p.m. as well as the latest GFS model run that came out an hour ago. So keep your eyes focused at the timestamp right here at the top as we go to the next 168 hours that stands for the next 7 days, and focus your attention right here at Jamaica as we look for all of this that we see on the key on the right. The greens that represents 1 to 5 inches of rainfall. Excuse me. The yellows to the oranges into the reds that represents 6 to 12 inches of rainfall. So let us see what the next 7 days have in store for us. So heading into Saturday, we can see that we still have some rainfall that's going to be plaguing portions of northern Jamaica for sure. We see the greens, especially across the northeast. We might even have some isolated flash flooding taking place if we follow this latest Euro model run. Heading into Sunday, definitely seeing something similar across northeastern parishes. Monday, to start the work week or the school week, definitely less rainfall. Same thing as we head into Tuesday. We see most of the moisture to the south of us. We also see a line of showers right here across the southwestern Atlantics, heading into portion of the Bahamas, Cuba, and the Western Caribbean associated with a frontal system. Heading into Wednesday, we see what's going to be taking place. Jamaica is going to be smack dab in the middle with the frontal system to the west and that trough to the southeast. Heading into Thursday, not much rainfall at all. Look at the whites, they represent little to nothing at all for us. Heading into Friday, we're going to be stopping it right here at the end of the 168 hours. So this is valid for Friday, January 10, 2025. And we can see maybe some dots of greens across northeastern Jamaica. We see some moisture right here to the north of the Caribbean, some moisture across the Western Gulf. Let us match this latest Euro model run to the latest GFS. Let's see if we have any consensus, any agreement. Heading into Saturday, we see the moisture across northeastern parishes for sure. Still see that on Sunday. Monday, definitely nothing at all. We see more whites than anything else. They represent no rainfall. Heading into Tuesday, we see the moisture, especially to the southeast of us. Not much on land, maybe some across eastern Jamaica by the end of the day. Wednesday, definitely little to no rainfall. Thursday, something similar. And then we're going to be stopping it right here at Friday, January 10. And we see something similar to what the Euro was showing. The moisture to the north of the Caribbean right here, off the east coast of the US. And we don't see much moisture across Jamaica, but we do see moisture across the western Gulf of Mexico for sure, spilling in even to the northwestern Gulf of Mexico. We'll see exactly what unfolds over the next 7 days. But in terms of the accumulated precipitation forecast, not seeing much change at all. Clearly, the most in the way of rainfall, as we know, it's represented by what we see here on the key on the right. We're talking about the reds into the burgundy color, into the purple, into the pink, into the peach color. That represents anywhere from 1 to 3 all the way up to 6, maybe up to 8 inches of rainfall. And we see that the most rainfall over the next 7 days from now up until January. Well, let's see. Yes, from now up until January 10. So today is January 3. So from now up until January 10, the most rainfall should be affecting portions of Belize, section of Guatemala, northern Honduras, eastern Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, section of Colombia, western Venezuela right here. We also see some moisture that's going to be plaguing portion of the eastern Caribbean for sure, section of the ABC Islands, section of southern Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, French Guyana for sure, maybe northern Puerto Rico, section of northeastern Jamaica, sections of eastern Cuba. Let us match it to what the latest GFS is showing, and I guess we can say that we have something similar for sure, especially across Central America where we see those peach, pinks, and purples. So they might definitely get on some amount of isolated flash flooding in those spots for sure, across sections of Central America as well as northern South America. We'll see exactly what unfolds, and I'll definitely be here to keep you posted with what occurs. If we take a look at the close-up of Jamaica regarding the accumulated precipitation forecast over the next 7 days, not much change. Over the next 7 days, we see that rainfall is still going to be plaguing northeastern parishes. We're talking about St. Ann, St. Mary, Portland, where we see the greens, yellows, oranges, pinks. That represents anywhere from 15 all the way up to the 9 to 1 millimeters of rainfall that we see right here across Portland. That's according to the Euro, the GFS showing something less now. We see the blues into the greens, even into the yellows. That represents anywhere from 10 all the way up to maybe up to 50 millimeters of rainfall for sure. But we clearly see that there is an agreement that Portland is going to be getting the most in the way of rainfall over the next 7 days. And we know all of that is due to the fact that they're going to be getting on that moist northeasterly flow with that relief rainfall for sure. If we take a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, you can see a frontal system right here stretching all the way from northern portion of North Atlantic all the way down into the southern Bahamas, Cuba, and the northwestern Caribbean. We see a trough right here to the east of Nicaragua, to the north of Panama and Costa Rica. We see the tail end of a cold front that has induced a trough into portions of the waters to the northwest of the Cabo Verde Islands right here. And we see a ridge of high pressure is represented by the H to the north of the main development region that we know is responsible for sending all of the easterly trade winds across the main development region into the Caribbean. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can make out all of these entities. First of all, we can make out that frontal system, the clouds associated with it, pushing across the Bahamas into Cuba as well as the northwestern Caribbean for sure. We can make out the clouds associated with the trough to the east of Nicaragua to the north of Panama and Costa Rica. Lots of showers and thunderstorms taking place down there. And we can even make out the clouds associated with that frontal system that we mentioned right here to the north of the Cabo Verde Island. And if you look closely, we can even make out that low level flow of the clouds pushing in from east-west, all courtesy of the ridge of high pressure to the north, sending all of those entities to the west. And we can also make out the upper level flow, those high cirrus clouds being streaked out towards the northeast and the east northeast, definitely because of that strong upper level wind shear. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Friday, January 3, 2025. It was stated that rainfall was in the forecast parts of northern Jamaica last night into Friday morning, and it was also forecast to affect sections of some southern parishes during Friday afternoon. And we know northern parishes, we're talking about those parishes like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Ann, St. Mary, Portland. While southern parishes, we're talking about Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. Thomas. And what ended up happening? As early as 9:31 a.m., the visible satellite image was posted right here on our Twitter page, as well as our Instagram page at weather.jamaica, on our TikTok page at Weather Jamaica, and on our Facebook page at Weather Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there, as we make posts throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So at around 9:31 a.m., we saw what the visible satellite image was showing. Definitely had more clouds, those low level clouds that is, across sections of northern Jamaica like Portland, St. Mary, section of St. James and Hanover definitely gotten on the cloudy condition. But we're also seeing a lot of clouds across the south coast too, especially some high cirrus clouds. But those didn't have much in the way of rainfall within them at all. And then, not much change for the afternoon at all, but during the afternoon, the Cuban Doppler radar images were posted. And we know the Doppler radar imagery, excuse me, is very useful because it shows us the actual rainfall underneath all of these clouds. And we can see it being represented by the greens. They represent moderado, that's moderate rainfall. And we saw that especially across southern Jamaica. We're talking about sections of St. Elizabeth, section of southern Manchester, section of St. Catherine, maybe section of St. Andrew, gotten on some of the action as well. And we also saw some rainfall out to sea to the south of St. Elizabeth, to the south of St. Thomas, to the east of Portland as well. And to show you the visible satellite images today and how confusing it was. Yes, we had the buildup of cloud, the low level clouds that is across section of northern Jamaica, but during the afternoon we had clouds everywhere. Look at these clouds, those high clouds, and they're definitely streaking off towards the northeast for sure, but not much rainfall within them at all. We can make out this even better. Look at this, the infrared that shows us the higher clouds, lots of cirrus clouds within there too, as represented by the blues, and we see all of this being streaked out towards the northeast. We can even see a brief isolated thunder shower right here to the south of St. Elizabeth too. We saw the sparkling white dots that will now represent some amount of lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes, right here at the end of the loop. And if we take a look at the live camera from See Jamaica's YouTube channel showing the flat bridge in St. Catherine, we can see that it was definitely a fair afternoon. This was at around 3:46 p.m. and we can see that it was definitely fair but overcast. We see people in their vehicles going about their business. Nothing significant taking place at all in terms of bad weather. The rear Cobra is definitely chilling for the time being. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to see more live streams like this, just visit See Jamaica on YouTube. They have these live streams for your viewing pleasure. Unfortunately, halfway through the crossroads, all the other cams in St. Andrew aren't working recently. Hopefully, they get it back up and running shortly. If we take a look at the total accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, this map does indeed paint a picture of how we had the rainfall today. It might not be 100% accurate, but we can see that it indeed affected section of northern Jamaica, especially in the morning, then section of some southern parishes during the afternoon for sure. And we definitely have some comments here coming in from some of our followers as well as some of our subscribers. One subscriber right here on our YouTube page, Sylvia Daly, sitting rain in Portmore. I love it. So nice and cool. Lord Jesus Christ, thanks. That was posted an hour ago. Even on our Instagram page, we had a comment coming in. Where did they go? Alright, here they are. So we had a comment coming in. Panton Giovanni stating Spanish Town sunny. We have God's underscore favorite underscore daughter 46 stating Reina Res, but I don't mind. Alright. And finally on our Facebook page we had Winston Ebang stating raining in Southfield, South St. Elizabeth, been overcast all day, and that was posted 3 hours ago. Thank you very much for confirming the rainfall in your area. And we even had some comments coming in here on our Twitter page. Prophetic Psalmist stating I'm enjoying it for the past 3 hours, on and off rain. However, the breeze is refreshing. St. Richard's Primary Community along Red Hills Road, Kingston 19 is cool and nice. So I'm glad that Prophetic Psalmist confirmed the rainfall in his area. Even Sean confirming the weather in her area. Seeing just some cold breeze in my section of Spanish Town. If we take a look at the very latest still image from the Weather Nerds website, what's happening right now? Alright, so the latest still images is of 0:00 by UTC. So this just came out at 7:05 p.m. But another image is supposed to come out in about a couple seconds from now, showing the 7:15 image. Let's see if we reload it, if it will show it. It's supposed to be here. Alright, here we go. 0015 UTC. So this one just came out 7 minutes ago, considering that it's 7:22 p.m. right now. Excuse me. And we can still make out those light shades of blues that represent some high cirrus clouds, all of which we know is definitely streaking off towards the east northeast or towards the northeast for sure. We can make out that brief thunderstorm that was affecting the waters to the south of St. Elizabeth too. The cloud regarding it streaking off towards the northeast towards Clarendon. Excuse me. If we take a look at the latest Cuban Doppler radar images, let's reload this. That was the very latest show, and the very latest is as of 7:20 p.m. And we can make out that not much is taking place across the island right now according to this latest Doppler radar. But we do make out some rainfall as represented by the greens, even some slight yellows that represent Fuerte. That's strong or heavy rainfall too to the south of the island. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure that this rain band is the reason why we had that burst of convection and the lightning, as well as the high cold cloud tops being streaked out towards the northeast, right here to the south of St. Elizabeth. This is why the Doppler radar imagery is so good. It shows us the actual rainfall. Excuse me. So we can see the rainfall to the south of St. Elizabeth. We can also see some rainfall to the south of Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. Thomas. Some rainfall right here to the east, southeast of St. Thomas. Some rain bands right here to the northeast of Portland too. And if you take a look at the latest Guantanamo Bay Cuban naval radar imagery, we can make out some rainfall moving quickly from northeast to southwest towards Jamaica from eastern Cuba. Let's see if some of that makes it into Portland tonight. It's definitely possible. Taking a look at the very latest Cayman radar. Let's see what's happening over here. You know, the Cayman radar shows the western portion of the island, and we don't see much happening across western Jamaica, but we do see some blues into greens represent some light rainfall to the south of Grand Cayman. And if we take a look at the very latest from See Jamaica's YouTube channel showing the flat bridge, we can see people in their vehicles going about their business. Nothing significant taking place, even though it looks like there are some water droplets of rainfall in the water. Don't think it's raining at all, because if it was, maybe we'd see the road a bit wet. If not, some of these vehicles with their windshield wipers on. Can't make out any of that right now. Either way, we see that it's windy, possibly cool there as well as we speak. If we take a look at the temperatures right now, it could be cooler than this, it could be hotter than this, but these are the estimates according to the windy website. 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 24 degrees Celsius in Kingston, and the estimated forecast temperature for 4 a.m. on Saturday has the temperatures dipping down to 23 degrees Celsius in both Montego Bay and Kingston. And if we take a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is valid for 18Z on Saturday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Saturday. Look at this. Majority of Jamaica is embedded in some blue colors. That's the light to slightly dark shades of blues, maybe all the way down to 2 degrees Celsius below normal temperatures, like what we see here on the key on the right, especially across northern Jamaica for sure. So with this in the forecast, and considering that the average or the normal temperatures for the month of January are around 86.5 degrees Fahrenheit, and when converted to Celsius, that's about 30.2 degrees Celsius, we should be receiving anywhere from, let's say, 28 to 30 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on Saturday. And it could even be cooler than that in some spots, especially where the mountains or the hills are located, or where we have the winds affecting the coastal areas, especially across the northern parishes. And we're indeed grateful. My JPS Online still has no power outages forecasted for us. Excuse me. Because we know that when they do the maintenance outages, the temperatures can feel really ridiculous, considering that we don't have our fan or our AC to cool us down. So we're grateful that for the rest of the weekend, no outages are going to be taking place. More than likely, they're going to be starting right back up next week, the work. Either way, if tomorrow is a bit too hot for you, we have some tips here to beat the heat as usual. It stays here: when you're outside, seek shade, eat fresh, try eating cold foods such as salads and fruits. Rest, make sure you get enough sleep, and rest if you're feeling tired. Soak, take a cool shower or bath to help you cool down. And I cannot stress enough how important it is to always keep hydrated. Drink lots of water throughout the day, even if you're not thirsty. Put away the sugary drinks, drink water instead. If you take a look at the dry air map right here, we know the dry air is represented by the yellows, the oranges, the reds, and the whites within those reds. Still don't have the Saharan dust forecast to show. The website that normally shows that It seems like I'm gonna have to find another website because this website glitching out. But in terms of the dry air, we know the dry air is right here across the portions of the main development region, sections of the Caribbean, section of the northern portion of the basin into the Gulf of Mexico. That's where the driest air is located. We see a lot of moist air though across the southern main development region into South America, into the southern and western Caribbean for sure, which explains all of the clouds. Lots of moist air in those spots. If we take a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we can see that both the Euro and the GFS are showing a mixture of the purples and the dark blues. So we're talking about anywhere from 1 all the way up to 2 meter wave heights for sure, especially across the western Caribbean. Taking a look at Jamaica's north coast, for the fisher folk, 1.8 meter wave heights on the north coast. On the south coast, 1.4 meter wave heights. And that's because of the winds that are expected. Look at the Caribbean, especially across the greater Antilles, we see that northeasterly flow pushing in, and we see the bright greens into the yellows. That represents anywhere from 20 maybe up to 25 knots for sure across the eastern Caribbean, and easterly flow curving west-southwestward across the southwestern Caribbean for sure, averaging anywhere from 5 to 10 to 15 knots across the eastern Caribbean, but across central to the western Caribbean, definitely 20 to 35 knots right there. And if we take a closer look at Jamaica regarding the wind forecast, we see something similar. Clearly we see that the strongest winds should be to the east of us, as well as across northern parishes for sure. That's where the bright greens into the yellows are going to be located. So some strong winds expected for northern Jamaica. Some of this could definitely spill into section of some southern parishes for sure. You see the waters to the east of Jamaica definitely going to be getting on some strong winds too. Excuse me. So 20 to 25 knot winds definitely expected for us. Excuse me. If we take a look at the upper level winds, not much change. More of that southwesterly flow across the greater Antilles, definitely even stronger. The more north we go into the greens, yellows, oranges, reds, purples. All of this in knots, as you can see from the key here on the right. Some very strong upper level winds for sure. That's why these upper level clouds are being streaked off so fast and quickly. If we take a look at the actual rainfall forecast map now, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both valid for 8 a.m. on Saturday. And what do we see that both maps are showing? Clearly we have some rainfall still in store for northeastern parishes, St. Ann, St. Mary, Portland, maybe even eastern St. Thomas. And then by about 2 p.m. on Saturday, we see the rainfall still plaguing northeastern parishes, St. Ann, St. Mary, Portland, according to both the Euro and the GFS. The Euro is trying to incorporate sections of southern Jamaica, St. Elizabeth, southern Clyde, sections of St. Andrew and St. Catherine, as well as St. Thomas. The GFS not so much, is definitely focusing more so on St. Ann, St. Mary and Portland. We'll see exactly what unfolds either way. Both accumulated precipitation forecast maps are in consensus that the most rainfall over the next 24 hours should be across section of the northeast. The GFS is a bit more reserved, showing more greens across St. Ann, St. Mary with the heaviest rainfall across section of St. Thomas and Portland. Portland getting the most, all the way up to 0.7 of an inch of rainfall. The Euro showing all the way up to 1.22 inches of rainfall. We'll see exactly what unfolds. I'll definitely be here to keep you posted with what occurs on our other social media platforms. And we know this is expected. We're in the month of January. We usually receive up to 20 millimeters of rainfall. That's about close to 1 inch of rainfall in Kingston. In Montego Bay, we usually receive almost 3 inches of rainfall. That's about 75 millimeters of rainfall. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to find out what your specific parish usually receives for January in terms of rainfall, as well as for the year, you can visit www.weather-and-climate.com, and that website will show you that information. If we take a look here at the rainfall when converted from inches to millimeters, we know that's how it's conducted on the rain gauge, and you can use this to calculate for yourself, because you know that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So as stated, we have some clouds bringing some overcast skies and some rainfall. As we can see here across the Western Caribbean, lots of rainfall across sections of Nicaragua, Honduras, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, section of Belize, Guatemala getting in on the mix. You also see some clouds bring some isolated shores in sections of the Western Caribbean, including the Cayman Islands. Well, not now, but maybe earlier today, section of Cuba, sections of the Bahamas getting in on some of the action. You also see some rainfall pushing in across sections of the Windward Islands from the east. You also see some thunderstorms lashing portions of Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, and French Guiana as we speak. And if we look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean, let's see what's happening over there. We don't see much happening across the Leeward Islands, but we do see some dots of greens representing some isolated shores in and around the US and British Virgin Islands, especially to the east of Puerto Rico. Loading these images from earlier today, we can see that not much action was taking place at all. Maybe some isolated shores across southwestern Puerto Rico, but that's basically it. If we take a look at the Barbados radar, look at all of this moisture pushing in from east to west. Some rainfall definitely passing to the north of Barbados, pushing towards Martinique, St. Lucia, section of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, definitely getting on some of the action. We also see some rainfall to the east of Grenada. Some of this might spill into Grenada later on. We also see some rainfall affecting section of Tobago, some rainfall to the east of Trinidad, maybe some rainfall later on tonight for sure, if not already. If we take a look at the weather view of Doppler radar images, we can see some rainfall right here passing through the ABC Islands, especially to the north of there. We see some rainfall across sections of northern and eastern Venezuela. We saw that rainfall that we mentioned across the Windward Islands. We also see some rainfall across section of northern Guatemala, Belize, section of northwestern Honduras. The waters to the east of Nicaragua definitely getting a lot of rain. And we also see some rainfall right here across sections of Colombia. And regarding where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours. Excuse me. This map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Saturday. And we can see that the most rainfalls wherever we have the oranges into the reds, as well as the burgundy and the purples. So clearly the most rainfall should be lashing portions of southern Belize, sections of northern Guatemala, northern Honduras, eastern Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, the ABC Islands, western, southern, northern Venezuela, section of Guyana, Suriname, French Guiana, Trinidad and Tobago, section of the Windward Islands for sure. So too section of Martinique, Dominica, eastern Guadeloupe. We also see some rainfall in store for the waters to the north of the Leeward Islands, maybe northern Puerto Rico getting on the action. We also see some isolated shores in store for section of northern Haiti and the Dominican Republic, eastern Cuba and northeastern Jamaica, maybe even spilling some isolated shores into sections of the Cayman Islands. And we see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus with this forecast. I know that when they're in consensus like this, the chance of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.